Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second season of The Inside World with Christopher Stanley over here. Hey, Christopher, how's it going for you?
It's going good, bro. All well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Christopher, and it's such a pleasure to have you on the fifth episode of The Inside World and just to talk to you as a musician and as a friend and an amazing person in the film industry to understand your experience and perspective so far. When I'm looking at Christopher, I think Christopher is one of the most versatile artists in the industry with multiple hats you can see. He's a singer one day, he's a dubbing artist another day, he's a producer the other day, and there's so many things that he's done in the film industry and also the independent music scene that everybody knows who he is as an artist, as an identity. Now, when I'm looking at Christopher, there's so many things Christopher has done, and when we look at somebody like him, it's very hard to find people like him in the industry. Now, when we look at our film industry or the independent music scene, it's pretty hard to find people who would choose a career similar to yours. Because for you, I find you very special because you've diversified your entire skills in such a way that you work in multiple segments in the industry. Now, before getting into this industry, there would be certain decisions that you've made to do this full time. Right. So most of us coming from Indian households, if we tell our parents like, hey, I want to be a musician, they'd be like, listen, are you out of your mind? You can do this on the side, but why would you want to do this full time? But I want to just, pass the baton to you right now. And I want to understand from your perspective on what are the certain variables that you considered while you decided to jump into the bandwagon of being a full-time artist in the industry.
Okay, so like every other, not I can't say like every other parent, uh, because right now it has changed. I'm seeing a lot of changes in the decision making for their kids. But otherwise, again, at home it was like a no, a big no to the cinema industry, like fully. Being brought up from the whole Christian family in the church, my whole singing career itself started only in singing in choirs, and those are the, like that's how I got introduced to music. So otherwise, my whole thing about I want to pursue music was from my school days where this whole overweight student in one section who's not being like even looked at, that kind of guy who's in the back bench hiding, and suddenly one day I sing and everyone's eyes are on me and I'm like, okay, then I am also getting attention here. So that kind of like gave me the boost to like uh, singing. But otherwise I hated music. Like I kind of like I hated music because music was always in theory. Most of the time while you're a student, it was always theory. Like you need to, and you like usual go for a piano class or a veena class or anything, like it becomes like a, they'll teach you notes and all those things, then only you can like touch the piano itself, those kind of things. I already used to fail in almost all the subjects. On top of that, I'll go for Sunday class. That also full zero. Like I'll get full zeros there. And then go for piano class, again fully out. So all these put together, I hated music. And then this whole thing, the school thing happened. Like I got the attention. So I kind of decided that, I want to pursue music, but I don't know what is going to happen. That was the first thought. Then I went to college, started doing whatever, MCC, Madras Christian College, filled with music, deep woods, everything. Like, so that's when I understood that there is competition. There's something called competition, which till then competitions were like, okay, whatever. Like if you win, most of the times I was like winning. So it was not like, it was not there. But then the real world came in because there was no singers when I was winning. There was no musicians kind of participating. I was the only singer, so I will win it. So it was not like difficult. But then when I came into college and then I'm seeing so much potential that, buddy, you need to work. You're not the best here. So that kind of like brought me down to level one again to start rethinking music. And then I kind of pushed it and understood that, okay, you have to learn to survive in the industry. So that's how I chose this whole path.
Yeah. So while choosing to do full-time music, right? Like I think you started from MCC and then you did sound engineering for a bit and then you went into Chennai Live being a producer. So post being a producer, like tell me about your experience in Chennai Live and then jumping into a full-time musician. Like how is that transition for you?
So any person who's entering into the music world, um, it's not easy. Like everybody knows that it's not easy. So I don't know what I thought, or like I think at that time there were a lot of things that were happening that in my mind I cannot survive in the music industry without a day job. So I don't know. I just like even my sound engineering, when I was doing my sound engineering, the first thing that the like one of the main things that I was like told was like, if you're choosing this industry, don't mind even getting 5,000 rupees as your monthly salary. So that was like, oh, okay, so it's a difficult world. So okay, fine. Then when I got that offer, I didn't even finish my sound engineering course. So I was like, I just took it up, and it was a 5,000 rupees job. So that kind of connected, saying that, okay, I at least got the 5,000 rupees job. Most of them did not even get that. So it was an internship. And I went in and I kind of liked it. And also I chose radio because of the whole concept of being in the industry, of the entertainment industry. That's it. That was the concept. Otherwise, I wouldn't have joined anything else. Like I particularly joined to be in the entertainment industry, and I was like researching and stuff. So found out that radio is one of it, and I joined it. I got the opportunity. I didn't want to lose it, so I joined it. And then I was like, I worked for about a year and a half as an intern, but never got like a big recognition on what I was doing, because like generally, right, like to change from an intern to a full-time job, the usual politics and that was happening, which was like, I kind of understood that I'm not going to grow here. So in that 1.5 years, I told them that I want to do this, but you need to give me some good salary. And then like I had to quit and join something else. But by then, in that next 6 months, they called me back with a bigger package. So I understood that, okay, I am worth something. And they called me, and I spent my 8 years of uh, life in radio.
So post your 8 years of life in radio, like, tell me about the decision, like right now, why would you, jump from radio to be a full-time musician right now? Like, were there certain variables in your mind for making that decision? You could have continued into a different, radio station altogether, right? So tell me how your mind was working when you made that decision that, okay, TK, from this time onwards, I'm going to concentrate full on music independently. So what were you thinking based on that?
So this really happened. Like I was going in the car from work to home, which is Egmore to OMR Thorepakam. It's a long drive. So in my head, I'm thinking, what am I doing? Like, okay, I'm married now. I got a job. And that was like one of the things that before I got married, I told my wife that, my girlfriend then. So I was telling her that I have to earn this amount, only then I will marry. without knowing, I kind of like when I proposed to her, I was actually earning more than what I said. So then I understood that, okay, you can get what you want, right? So that thinking came only then. So I was like, okay, so when I was going in the car, I was like thinking, so I remember writing in the slam book in my school saying that, I want to be a rock star, music rock star. And what am I doing here? A promo producer who's giving like voiceovers, like, Sarvana Stores, Tangamalige and all that. Like I'm giving like full voiceovers here. And where is my music going? So I had to rethink in that journey while I was going back home. Dude, where is the money? Money is in the playback industry, movie industry. So why are you not getting opportunities? Because you're only singing English songs. Nobody wants to listen to English songs because you're in India, you're in Tamil Nadu here. And if, like, honestly, there's only some 2% of people who are listening to English songs. Even if the people who are listening to English song is there, present, while I'm doing the show, if I do a Tapangutu song, they are happy. They are happier, right? So I understood that, okay, I need to start doing Tamil songs. And then I started doing that whole thing about like, having your own page, it's not easy to start your own Facebook page. Back then it was like Facebook page was the thing, right? Like it was so difficult for me to like believe myself that somebody is going to follow you for who you are. It was very difficult. That decision was like one of my friends from Singapore came down to India. That time she was like telling me, like a year back, she was telling me like, you should have a page of your own and all. I was like, no, I don't want to have a page of my own. My fans will join, will start their own page. Like, my mindset was like that. Then I understood that, okay, listen, you need to market yourself. Nobody is going to sit and like help you promote it. So I started my own page on Facebook and on YouTube, of course. YouTube was not like a major thing that time because it was not major here in India. So yeah, I started by uploading some Tamil songs. That's it. And
Nice.
I actually got a call just by
Hmm.
doing that, just
No.
by that journey,
Hmm.
thinking that I need to start something, and I got it.
Yeah. So, like you said, it's not easy to start a page of your own back in the time because you had to be very conscious about your brand as an individual, the type of music that you put out, and once you have that portfolio, things just line up for you. Actually, now the
Yeah.
funniest thing that when you mentioned about the Pangutu, right? Like I remember, like when I was playing with my band in Chennai. There was this audience member who had the audacity to come up on stage and it's like, boss, listen, can you play some folk song? Like, bro, we are a metal band, dude. Like, what do you expect us to play? But yeah, so it's true. The audience mentality in the industry, especially in Chennai, is if you're singing English songs, it's just 2% of the audience that's there. And would they even pay to watch you live? Maybe 0.05% would be willing to pay. So that's a crazy portion. And you understanding the industry on what is the potential that's out there, and then changing and adapting yourself to be in industry, I think that's a very smart move that you've actually done. But coming back to our next section, when you look at careers as such, um, the biggest taboo that musicians have in this industry is it's not a stable job. Technically it isn't, and mostly it's because people have not figured out the profitability and the sustainability aspect of this particular job. Like suppose if you get a project right now, how do you make sure that you're able to sustain yourself for the entire year? How do you make sure that the livelihood and the money that you get from the project is enough to support a family. Now this is where people may not be able to have a strong foundation because they don't know what are the different types of avenues where you can generate revenue as a musician, and that is something that everybody should know. Like if I'm looking at it from the face value of it, people think, okay, theek hai, if I'm a musician, I sing on stage, or I record, or I produce. That's it. There's nothing more, nothing less. But if I don't fit in these three categories, it doesn't make sense for me to actually, take up a career over there. But when you've spent enough time in the industry, you can understand that there is a vast ocean out there where you can actually tap into your skills to earn money out of. And like for example, you've had multiple hats in the industry. Like you've been an RJ, you've been a producer, you've been a composer, you've been a musician, you've been an amazing live performer, and you've been a dubbing artist also. Like you've had so many hats in which you're having different streams where you can support yourself in the long run. But when you look at the public, they have no idea about these avenues where you can make money out of. So, Christopher, from your perspective and your experience in the industry so far, could you highlight some different avenues where you feel people can actually earn a decent living from the jobs that are there?
Yeah. So yes, it is a huge industry. It's an ocean actually. Uh, only if you try. Very simple. You go try it, you will start exploring. But then, if I tell you certain things, you'll be like, how am I going to earn out of that? Say, like for example, a music arranger. Do we actually have that option here? Or a music therapist? Do we have that option here? Is it even worth trying? That's the question. But my thing is, only if you try, you will know whether you have the potential to continue or not. So I started doing it. That's when I understood that, okay, so basically, I don't want to like put any particular thing like, rich parents or poor parents or middle class and all that. But you have to consider your surrounding, like who are you, how can you grow. If your parents have money, um you can actually do a lot more things is what you're thinking. But even if you're poor or less money, you can also do a lot of things. For that, only you have to do it. And right now on YouTube, you're seeing so many people are up there, like young kids are up there earning in like lakhs, right? So those days that thing was not there. But my main thing is, try first, and then you will receive everything. So going into your like, what what is the stuff that you can do is, just in music itself, only like the whole famous music director, okay, that music director himself or herself actually knows only how to play piano or guitar. A very few know how to do everything. Because if you know how to play piano, you're like the king of like, you can arrange everything in the piano itself, like in the midi keyboard itself, you can like arrange violins or everything, all that said and done. But like, there is another option where people don't want to do so much, because if I'm going to do everything, where is the feel? So there is an option for that, which is, you can be a music producer, you can be a recording artist. Recording artists are like what? Like you, somebody, the music director is recording your feel mainly. That is what, because actually he can get what he wants, but it's the different feel which is going to, you know, make that change in that song. Again, playback singer is a usual thing, and only in that. So and then there's something called music arranger. Music arranger is something called uh, like the notes and all those things they write. So if it's like a music director cannot be sitting and writing all those notes and stuff. So they give it to another person to write all those things. So if they are going to do a say like a choir or a orchestra recording, they cannot be sitting and writing. So there is a person who writes that music and gives it to them. And then there's something called a conductor, right? Like the music conductor. So only there is so much. And then if you go into broadcasting is such a huge industry, right? Like you said, like I tried RJing. There's something called VJing. Like everybody knows right now, because it's video jockey. For people who don't know what VJ is, it's a video jockey, and it's the one who talks to you all the time. You would switch on your and you don't even know that that's a job. I had that problem. I didn't know that it was a job. It was just like entertainment. Yeah, something was happening there. So when you look into it only, you're like, oh my God, there's like a huge avenue. So if that RJ is doing there, can you come out of that screen and see behind the screen? So many people are working there. So what is this like? So how can you put that as music? That is not music. Somebody is sitting there is a producer. Somebody is videotaping is a videographer. How is that connecting with music? You are connecting with music because you are going to meet so many people out there. It's about meeting people. It's about socializing. It's about talking to people. You will never know when you will get the chance. It can happen like that. Tomorrow somebody will call you and say, hey, I saw you that day. The one who was interviewing me told me that you also sing. Can you send me a demo? Demo? Ayyo, where's the demo? I don't have a demo. I have to go search for it. No, you have to have it ready. That's when comes the whole portfolio and all those things. But then coming back to where our topic was, like, what are the other avenues? There's a huge list of avenues now. Social influences, right? Social media influences. Yeah, that's another thing. People think that it's not worth, but it is something huge. Products are being sold. Uh, you are an influencer, which is a big thing. It's not like I'll go party, I'll put stories of me partying around, and that's not being an influencer, right? You can party, but still there are people who are out there like saying that they are social influencers. You should go check their content out. It's about information, right?
Yeah.
People want information.
So when you talk
So
about influencing in the industry itself, that's when these endorsements come in, where brands start sponsoring you for using their equipments and their products as such, where you as an artist use those instruments to actually further your value that you're giving to them with the product that they're giving. And some of there are a lot of people who have been endorsed in terms of musical instruments, in terms of equipments, and a lot of people in China have been endorsed as well. One amazing job that you mentioned about having different avenues of revenue is music therapy. Okay, I think this is a very niche segment in the industry where people don't think about it that much actually. So personally, for me, I wanted to study music just to understand music therapy, because the different songs from a major scale, the minor scale, and understanding where these emotions and tones fit your persona and your moods, and how you can change your mood based on the song that you're listening to. Right now, most people, while they write a song, they'll be like, "Theek hai, I'll write in major scale and minor scale, and there'll be some song that'll be coming up." But when you analyze the power of music, like in background scores, I think people have experimented more onto background scores than music actually. I don't think our industry has matured in such a way that they understand the emotions of a chord and then implement in the music. I feel our industry is still yet to come into that stage. But something that I'm really hopeful for is probably in the next coming years, there will be people who would vest their entire efforts to understand music therapy as such, bring it to our industry where there'll be professional professional artists that change people's mood, help in recovery in hospitals, or just have like sessions to actually improve your mental health altogether. I think there are like very good applications where people have not even ventured upon. And I think, like you said, right, like you have to be invested in it just to have some kind of a result that is coming out. And those are just wonderful points, Christopher. And it's really nice when people who have been in the industry start talking about these, stating that there is hope if you are really interested, and if you're willing to invest your time, blood, sweat, and energy, then there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Now, Christopher, you've been you've taken a conscious decision to jump into the playback and film industry, because when you look at the the real world that is out there, most of the money still comes out of movies. Like if you get a deal, you're sorted for the next 2-3 months. But it's very important to understand certain mindsets and certain goals while you're in this industry. So from your time being in the playback industry, you had the opportunity to act, and you had the opportunity to record in famous songs. And from all this, could you just tell me some of your learnings, where if somebody is planning to jump into the film industry, what are some things that they need to be very aware of?
it's it's not easy. One of the toughest industry, and I cannot say that it is the like because I'm there, I'm saying it's the toughest industry, but there are people who would say that I'm in this IT company and that is the toughest, right? Like, so everyone's facing the toughest. So, there is this something thing called common thing that is happening, that if you're working for somebody, it is the toughest. That's it. Katam, over. If you want to do something by your own, then it is not the toughest. You put the deadlines and you make it tough for you, right? So, and if you don't do that, you're not going to succeed. You're going to sit around lazing around and like, come on guys, we are doing this interview at 6 a.m in the morning, or I mean 7 a.m in the morning. So that's how focused you need to be if you want to do something in life. And hats off to Ashish for that, right? So this is what it is. Like, you cannot simply sit and say that, hey, I want to do this. No, you have to go in and dig it and do it. So money wise, no, it is not a big industry money wise. Only if you are like a huge famous singer who's got like 20 hits and like songs, like every song that you have sung is a hit and all those things, only then you can like survive in this industry. According to me, I don't know about like people who are in the like real like, I don't know, it is something that also the I am a celebrity, that thing is also there. And because you're a celebrity, you might get more shows, all that is there. But in the recording playback industry or movie industry, don't expect much money. Money is not there. Okay, money is there if you are there. You get it? Like,
Yeah,
you.
so like you said, when you look at this industry, it's a very tough industry because it's unstructured. Like there's not a proper structure, because most of these works actually come from personal connections, networking, and the ease of working with you. Like if you're easy to work with, and like you said, if you have like if every song that you've sung is a hit, then your brand value increases, and your power to demand more in compensation also increases along with it. Now, that's very true, actually. Like you said, even though the money is not there, it depends upon how you're willing to actually survive and hustle to get it. Very true, Christopher. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's it. Like, you need to just go ahead and do it again and again. Like, it's like I'm going on a repeat mode saying that you have to do it. Only if you do it, you will get it. So what I would say is, as an advice, what I did, money was not the main thing. It's about the songs that you're getting, or like the offers that you're getting, and your portfolio increases. Basically, you need to start doing other things, not just the same, like, I want to be a singer. Okay, yes, singer is fine, but money is not going to come only if being a singer. You need to do other things around. If you go and look into the professional musicians world, they do other things, right? Like they like I like how Ashish is saying that I do a lot of things is because I needed money to explore. So I went in, started researching. I started doing voiceovers. I started singing for like cartoon voices, like no, 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 like changing my voices. Like it sounded like I was an idiot, but it was giving me money. There will be people saying that, hey, what you're doing some nonsense there. Hey, can you pay the bill? Like, that's it. Like it's as simple as that. So you have to be out there exploring different options, and that's what we spoke about. Like there are different avenues to make that money. So again, the whole thing about this, the songs being like filled in your name, money is not important. Your portfolio is important. So whenever you go, you have to have a portfolio. So tomorrow somebody is calling you, you are going to like blank, being going to go blank when somebody calls you and says, hey, I need your voice, or I need your this thing. So when they ask you, it should be like that. It should be one WhatsApp forward away. That's it. So for that, you need to have, but so portfolio, for example, portfolio is what, like you have to create a professional portfolio. Have you, Ashish, have you done any portfolio sessions before, or are you planning to do
Yeah, so
anything?
we've had one portfolio episode in season 1 where Steve was talking about his artist portfolio. Like he was saying, like if they want to see you as a professional and you want to be paid as a professional, then you have to act like a professional and be a professional in front of them. And for that, the best thing is you need to have a portfolio to show them, yeah, this is my work, this is my quality, this is my standard, and this is what I would deliver. If you'd like to work with me, feel free to get in touch with me. Like,
Okay.
yeah, like you said,
So so one tip that I can give in that is what I learned from another person was like, your clients don't have your 5 minutes of song that you have done. They are giving you money. They are hustling. That's why they have the money. So they have only 1 minute for you. So show off everything in that 1 minute. That is what I've heard, like, and it's working for me.
elevator
So
pitches.
so literally I kind of like, I went into my YouTube channel, I saw whatever I've done, I took everything and cut into all the best parts, and I put a demo and I sent it to them. This is my first time when I did it. Now I have it. And then the next one was going into the professional demo strip. Like, who are you? I had to spend money and I did it. I booked a studio, I booked my musicians, paid them, because why I paid them is because it is for me. I am doing it for myself. So I paid, and because nobody can claim it, because I paid the musicians, I got it. I got it done. Now that music, I can use it for live shows also. So everything works around, like, in a different way. So that demo has to be pakka. If you have to spend money, you have to spend money. If you know how to do it, do it. So yeah, that's what
Yeah.
like work.
Yeah. So when you think about this, like if you're looking to be compensated well in the industry, there are only certain people who can provide you that certain compensation because they've too hustled, and for them to reach that level where they're willing to spend that much amount of money on you, that means they would have quality and standard in what they're actually offering to the customer side of things. And for people like that, they would be very picky on the amount of time that they invest. They want the best and they want the brightest talent that's out there. And if you're sending a portfolio that has like 10 songs and even you don't know what's the best in it, I think that's it. I think for personally, from my standpoint, I consider these as elevator pitches. If you have their attention for the first 15 seconds, then you have it for the next 15
Yeah.
seconds. If you lose them in the first 30 seconds, your pitch is done. So creating a very standard portfolio, like you said, like, you should be able to send it through WhatsApp in a zitch. Like they're like, hey Christopher, I want to know what kind of work you've done. Yeah, one second, here's my portfolio, why don't you just check it out and let me know if you can work. So in that time where they're open to the fact, hey, I need a different artist over there where who can complement my project over here. And if they see that first thing in that first 30 seconds, their decision making mindset is set. Because in the strategy field, we always consider this concept of consumer behavior. Like if what they're thinking matches up to 30% of what they're seeing, they're like, okay, I think I like this guy. I'll make this decision as soon as possible, because I don't like to keep thinking about my choices again and again. So if they get a good choice in that 30 seconds, and if it matches 30% of their requirements in one, it's a technical research. Okay. So 30% of how much what they're looking at is seen in your portfolio, then cool. They'll just go ahead with it, because this is 101 client negotiations and deal closings. Actually, just 30% of what you're offering.
Yeah,
And
it's also the professionalism that you're
yeah,
showing.
exactly.
Like they people love like seeing professionals. People love to work with professionals. One of my biggest, like, I am proud of myself is when somebody asks me to come at 5 o'clock, I am there before.
Okay.
Like that is something that I have made. Like, I don't have a problem if they say, like, uh, uh sorry, it's late, or it's not, it doesn't affect me at all. But for me, for my satisfaction, I'm ready.
Yeah. So being
And that,
professional, yeah, being
like,
professional
that
goes a
kind
long
of
way.
gives that, that whole thing that, okay, like, for example, when I went for Halena recording, Harris Jared's like studio, like, he calls me at 3 o'clock, but I'm there at 2:30. And there is this thing that, everybody knows that I'm in. So once I started doing that, I was being called, like, for like the next session, next session, next session. After I did Helena, every single album he called me, and then my voice is there. Every single album that he has done. So I guess because I was there and I didn't have any problem. I didn't say, like, I have to go or nothing. I was there. I'm ready. So yeah,
Wonderful. Yeah. So I think we've covered a lot. Like we talked about,
a
being
lot.
versatile. We talked about having a portfolio. We talked about, what makes you different in the industry. And we talked about being very professional also. There's so many things that's over here I'm trying to wrap my mind around. And Christopher, thank you so much for taking the time to talk about all this. Before we close this particular episode, is there anything, that's in store in the coming weeks that we can expect from your end?
Okay, so what I have in store is basically every week I plan. Today is my day. I plan, and content happens every single day for me. So I never, overthink about it. And so I have my YouTube channel, so you guys can check out my YouTube channel, where I keep giving information about music in general. And that's about it. Like, that's what I have in store.
Sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so okay. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, Christopher, and it was a pleasure hosting you for this episode. And looking forward for multiple projects and things that are coming out from your end. Thanks, Christopher.
Thank you. But I have one last thing
Sure.
to say. Um, what I have learned right now, where I am right now, is the only thing is give and you will receive. So share information, share your knowledge to people.
Yeah,
That's one thing you will receive back.
that's the main foundation of the inside world. And thanks for being a part of it, Christopher. Thanks for
Thank you.
your time. Yeah.